Before I begin, never have I seen resources, time, attention, energy, effort, sweat, tears, blood, and piss be utilized so much to defend a group of individuals who, for the most part, know what they're doing and know why they're doing, which I'll explain a bit later, and how it's affecting the image of their race. What am I talking about exactly? Well, I've been watching, and I'll admit it. I've been watching the. Some people call him the master teacher. I just call him the experienced elder. I'll give him that much credit. BGS Sitmore on his videos of thugs and Pookies and Ray Rays, and let's just cut to the chase. Him damage controlling and diverting the focus of the blame on Pookies and Ray Rays. I'm not sure because he's a former Pookie and Ray Ray who, in the 1970s, was trying to be all cool in the gang and jiving it up. He can tell you himself. But quite frankly, you don't see this in any other community, which I'll explain a bit later as well. But this video, you can call it a response, I guess. But for the most part, let's be real. The Pookies and Ray Rays, the thugs, the dope boys, the Man-Mans, the Little Twins, have a role to play. Maybe not the biggest role, but a role nonetheless to play in the image, or crappy image I should say, of all black men. And some people will throw up some common counter arguments, which I'll counter them today. For starters, you'll have people, specifically those who were thugging it up in the 70s, say, well, we had white supremacy and white racism and discrimination and blah, blah, blah. That's the reason why we thugged it up. Well, why wasn't this thugging and this looting and shooting and all this other crap, why wasn't this applicable before the era of the welfare state? Ask me why. You didn't see this being rampant back then. But all of a sudden, when the welfare state comes, which, I mean, you can thank black women for it, which a lot of you, same Pookie and Ray Rays, will never blame black women for. Basically, because those are the ones who gave you a shot when they were at their youngest and tightest. But why was it that this wasn't a problem before then, when racism and white supremacy were real issues? Anyway, some other points that a lot of these people will point out. Let me see. Oh yeah, here's a perfect one. The same Negroes who would defend Pookie and Ray Ray whenever they do something, usually to other people. And I'm not even talking about rival gang members. That's one thing. You're gonna go after rival gang members and shoot each other. That's your business. That's your life. You decided to go there. And yes, you decided to go there. It wasn't a gun shoved to your head saying, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Was there social pressure? Oh yeah, there's definitely social pressure. But it wasn't from white supremacy more than it was from your own women. But a lot of these people who complain are the same ones who will whine when white America will defend a lone wolf who shoots up a school or blows up bombs in random places. And they'll say, "What America? Why he ain't a terrorist? Why you ain't calling him a terrorist? He a terrorist, you see? He done gone shoot up the school. He done did it." And then you have white America, mostly white trash America, and disingenuous white disingenuous America saying guess what they say? I'll give him credit. Guess what they say? He didn't do nothing. You know why they do that? Because you guys do the same thing to the Pookies and Ray Rays, just in reverse. And then you got disingenuous white America telling disingenuous Negro America, which is different from American blacks, asking you guys, why aren't you considering him a terrorist, huh? Anyway, as I said, you two are the worst elements of this country, and the reason why we're being held back from the full potential, America's full potential. In some cases, you can question, was America really intended to be true republic, egalitarian society. That's a whole another story for another day. And let me see. Some people will say the thug thing is overdone and thugs aren't getting as much love as they may be portrayed. Well, yeah, that's true when women are grown, but the damage at that point's already been done. I mean, who really wants a woman, no matter how classy she is, no matter how much education she got, no matter how grown and sexy she is, who wants to deal with a woman who rejected a guy, particularly a guy because he was an, I hate this word, I consider that, I'm not going to say this word, an EL. Just an EL, if all you guys can figure it out. If you really need to spell it out, I'll spell it out in the comment section. But an EL back in the day, when he was young, anything but dumb, but nonetheless full of cum. And he wanted to get it in like anybody else. But you know what the women said? Regardless if they were little Cardi B's in the making or little Michelle Obamas in the making, they said, he ain't got no swag. That's what exactly almost all of them said. And most of us, particularly most black men who are watching, didn't have the fortune, that wasn't loved enough by God and Jesus to be raised in a multiracial or non-black school district where they would have options of dating outside their race or dating women, particularly non-American raised black women, or black girls, I should say, who weren't about that BS, who were open to dating men who were going somewhere, who had a plan, had a bit of charisma. So yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal when you're like 35 and they're all used up, and now they're chasing after the successful men. Of course, yeah, I agree with you on that. Let me see. But I'll say this overall. They aren't the ones to blame overall. They really aren't. They aren't. Well, they aren't the number one blame, I should say. These Pookie and Ray Rays. And you know why? These Pookie and Ray Rays simply are Pookie and Ray Rays not because of their condition, not because of their upbringing, not because of not having a dad in the house. Because you have plenty of these pseudo hoods like DeKalb County, Georgia, or Prince George's County, Maryland, where you have plenty of dads in the home. But these sons end up growing up to be poser-ass Pookie and Ray Rays, if you can call them that. And a lot of it do it mainly because being a Pookie and Ray Ray, being a thug, being a man and little twin, it's a socially acceptable form of simping. Let me repeat that again. It's a socially acceptable form of simping. It's basically been socially accepted in the media because, quite frankly, that's what America wants from black men. Is to basically be stereotypes. Even to the point of warding away, and I'll give America this. The American media, they have done a damn good job at this. They have basically made it so that black men, young black men especially, wouldn't be a real competition threat to whites and not other non-black men. Mainly, this Pookie and Ray Ray image, all it really does is it discourages black men who would otherwise be classic men or educated you-know-whats to basically conform to this hood image so they basically can impress the average black woman regardless of income. And what this also does is it filters out women of other races who are most likely trash. I'm just going to say this. Most women of other races who are attracted to this Pookie Ray Ray image are usually the trash, the bottom feeding barrels of their society. And what this does inadvertently is it shifts over the trash of other races to the black race, leaving the best women, or the women who are more feminine, who are more cooperative, who are thin, who know what their roles are, to the whites and other races, improving their gene in the long run and diluting the gene of the black race in the long run as well. I'm not sure if you guys really see what's going on, but let me continue. As I said, the Pookies and Ray Rays are socially acceptable forms of simps, and they do it basically to impress women. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Some people say same culture, that you got the educated, you know what, emulating black, listening to black music and worshiping people like Cardi B. That is true to an extent. That is true. And you say, oh, if you want to see what his culture is, go to his playlist. Go to his playlist. And to be honest, you do have these. And I'm gonna be critical towards some of the. I'm gonna say in this case some of the educated lames, because a lot of them do have tendencies of Pookies and Ray Rays. They speak like Pookies and Ray Rays. They think like Pookies and Ray Rays. They talk like them. They use slang. And to my response, they worship big booty bimbos only to get burnt by them, and then they end up making MGTOW channels or other channels saying, don't date these women. These women gonna do you dirty, and they're gonna sleep around in the town with you, and then when you break up after 4 months of seeing them, they're gonna take all your stuff, and they're gonna take your not drone Nikes and your PlayStation 5s and your NBA 2K19s, the Lonzo Ball limited edition. Yeah, there are some guys who are like that. And to those guys, I do not speak for them, quite frankly. And in the future, the future I should say, I may make a video calling out some of these guys. I mean, if you're not gonna be Pookie and Ray Ray dude, don't dibble and dabble and take elements of it. And if you're raised in that element, de-niggify yourself. It is very essential to do so. De-niggify yourself at all cost. Now, I'll agree with you about the lane stuff, but I'll talk about that lane a bit later. Personally, I never, and I won't say, yeah, I'll say personally, I never really desired the big booty Brembo, Shakita and Quanisha around the way, even though I was raised in that environment for a good portion of my childhood. Because you know what? Or you know why, I should say? There are plenty, and I'll give you guys this, there are plenty of women who will be the female equivalent of classic women in the making, who are just as horny and get just as wet in their teens. And those were the women I capitalized on. Not capitalized, but those are the women I enjoyed myself with. Besides the fact that, one, they were a lot easier to deal with, and two, they didn't have the big booty that a lot of these Negroes worship, which, let's be honest, it's fat. It is fat. And a lot of Negroes will tell you, I like big booty women because that's our standard. Go look at a 1990s and early 90s rap video and get back to me about that. Let me see. What else I got out here? Women are feeling it. I'll agree with you there. Women are feeling this, which is why I don't give too much heat to these Mammans and Little Twins, Pookies, and Ray Rays. Like, if you look through my catalog of videos, I seldomly call out these guys. And in many cases, I seldomly call them out for what it is. These guys, even though they are not the main reason why we're in the scenario we're in, but they are a reason. We have to call it both ways. And to be honest, the people who defend these kind of guys, the people who in reality are former Pookie and Ray Rays themselves, but had the wherewithal or the luck to avoid prison, death, or abject poverty, I see what these guys are doing. They don't want to be held accountable for their part. They say, oh, blame the women, but it's the women's fault, which, yeah, I'll be honest, overall, it is the women's fault. But let's be honest. You guys are complicit in this, being the workhorses of women by doing their bidding. And that's what you need to be held accountable for. You may not have shot the gun, but you drove the car. You may not have flown the plane, but you allowed them to fly it. You may not have rolled the barrel, but you cleared the way. I mean, yeah. We can go on. You may, yeah. Well, as I said, you may not have made the cake, but you said it wasn't a lie. Anyway, what else do we got here? And then there's some shaming language about classic men leaving the community thinking that, oh, they're going to find acceptance, but they'll find out what a lot of other people found out, that you will not be accepted in American society. And this is all a bunch of, you're just a nigger, you get your nigger money. I know what this is. This is all shaming language to say, keep your talents in the community that hated you and made it hell on earth for you in order to get a freaking education, in order to go to college or go to the trade schools. Give back, give me handouts, give me. And what I like to say as a response to that is no, and no. And as far as leaving the community to go to the so-called other communities, half the time it's usually the other communities, usually the more enlightened members of other communities, who pick off these classic men for you. They're the ones who take them in. Now I know there's some parts of America that may think that, oh, well, you're just all black, you doesn't matter. All right, I'll give you that. And then the more east you go, the more true it rings. But who says that in the case of black men who are in a hostile environment at both ends, that they have to stick to the United States? One of the things I have always preached on this channel is to go where you're wanted. And in increasingly cases of black men, it's outside the United States. And I stand, as a matter of fact, I doubled down on that, especially for black men who aren't accepted outside of their communities and other communities. Go where you're wanted. And if it has to be outside the United States, then so be it. Look at what the Jews did in Germany. They were not accepted, even though they had contributed so much to the economy, to the country, to the advancement of German civilization. During the Weimar Republic and prior, it was one of the envies of the world. And you know how the Germans thanked them for it? Adolf Hitler, Nazi Germany. That's when the Jews said enough was enough, and we were going to go where we wanted. Some of them took the back to Jerusalem path. Some of them took the path of going just to other places where they were welcome with open arms, or at the very least they were allowed to live their lives and do what they do. And look at where they are now. They went from being demonized in the 40s up to 50 years later being the envy of the world. That's what I preach on my channel, if you haven't been listening. And for black men, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to repeat myself. And as far as not being praised, the United States of America, we all know, has praised thug culture probably since, I'd say, the late 90s at the earliest, definitely around the 2000s. And a lot of these Pookie and Ray Rays who want to say that, well, we aren't liked, we aren't respected. No, trust me. The image of the black man has been the image reflecting Pookie and Ray Ray, Man and Little Twin. And then that ultimately goes back to my first point of black men who are educated not being wanted in this country. Because if we were wanted in this country, we wouldn't have this seismic shift in image from your Michael Jordans, your Magic Johnsons, to, I don't know, your, you know what, I can't even say LeBron James, although he does have the urban image to him to an extent, but he's not a complete Pookie Ray Ray. I can't. Although, no, I'm not gonna go there. But you get my point. The rappers, most of the NBA players who are praised, most of the NFL players who are praised. I mean, let's not go back to the 2000s where we had your Chad Ochocinco's and your Terrell Owens and hell, your Des Bryant's now. You're like they're the ones who get all the attention. They're the ones who are seen as the epitome of black masculinity. Not your strong and silent types like your Julio Jones or your Larry Fitzgeralds or anyone like it, or your and the only time that non-ghetto, Teddy Bridgewater, there you go, that's another example, or your Deshaun Jacksons, and they aren't going to get praise. They are not going to get as much shine, no matter how well they do in their careers. And the only time you may get a classic man being praised is when he simps out, when he goes all SJW. Yeah, I mean, and we, dang, don't give me a brain fart, please. Like, and we all know who those quarterbacks are, respectively. So, as far as let me see, for the ladies, BGS, he said that this video was for the ladies, which proves my point that a lot of this thug defending crap, Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick, though, there you go. I know my football, people. If there's one sport I know. But let's be honest. For the ladies, dude, for the ladies, we all know this confirms once and for all that a lot of thug defending crap, a lot of this, it ain't the Pookie and Ray Ray's fault, stop blaming them, it's white supremacy, don't you like our culture, dude, if you saw my playlist, if you saw my playlist, you would think I would be whiter than Donovan Sharp. Shout out to Donovan Sharp, by the way, but just throwing that out there. If you saw my playlist, dude, anyway. But this proves that a lot of this thug defending crap is done at the behest of women. This is usually done in order to give women cover, in order to avoid them having a role in this, and ultimately putting them on blast. And also, this is basically proof that you guys are just tools for these women. These women who, for some reason, had the pretend authority to think that, oh, they can decide what a man is, and no, women. You can decide. You barely know what these women don't even know what women are, much less what men are. Not these days. How about they focus on what women are, and then once they figure that out, like their great grandparents did when gender relations were functional, then get back to us. Then come to the table. Then get out of the corner. Until then, you're in the corner. You're in the room. No TV. No social media. I know. No attention. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna die. No social media. No likes on Facebook. No Pookies and Ray Rays hitting me up on my inbox. No, yeah, exactly, woman. Anyway, before I close out this video, because this is a pretty long video, and I thank you guys who have stuck with me for this long. But let's really address the root of these issues. These Pookie and Ray Rays. Okay, you want to say that they had bad upbringings, that they didn't have a dad, and their mommy didn't hug them enough. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. Then why don't the Pookies and Ray Rays terrorize, demonize, and ostracize those who they see or those who they blame for being the people who brought them in their scenario in the first place? Which the last people they need to go after are the classic men, the educated you-know-what. You're so damn brave and you're so damn bold, and you have such an anger up your ass, and white supremacy. Go after white supremacy. Go rob white supremacy. Go shoot up white supremacies. Go after the people who you think benefited from them, since you're so angry and hard and tough. Go troll white supremacists then. Go troll Mr. Spencer and his ilk and whoever. Dude, you guys can't even do that online. Forget it, real life. You can't. You guys are too pussy to do that online. No other community also no other community does this. You know what other communities do to their Pookies and Ray Rays? Well, the whites, they kick Pookie and Ray Ray to the fucking woods. They tell them, you can go to the country. You can go to the backwoods, the backwaters, the outback, the tundra, wherever, Siberia, wherever, and you can fend for yourself. You live in your little trailer parks, deal with your little meth and opioids, and Thanksgiving, we may allow you to come back for Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas, depending on how you've been able to control your trail trash tendencies. That's what you do to their Pookies and Ray Rays. Latinos, to be fair, yeah, there are a lot of cholos in Latino America and Latin America and the Hispanic community. But they uplift them just as much as they uplift their classic men. Because you know why? In the Latino community, it's all about familia. And regardless if somebody makes it out by legit or illicit means, they support and they rally that around that person. So I'll give them that. And that's the main reason why Latinos, regardless of being here and being poorer than blacks, are succeeding better than blacks and are being respected more than blacks. And Asians, and outdoor Indians and Africans in this, they don't take that shit. If you're a Pookie, if you have one iota of Pookie and Ray Ray in you, they will at the very least slap that shit out of you. And if you keep going, you only get one warning at best. They will disown your ass. You might as well pack it up, move to the barrio or ghetto or trailer trash or trailer parks or whatever. If you're an Asian Pookie and Ray Ray, an African Pookie and Ray Ray, Indian Pookie and Ray Ray, no. Don't come again. Let me stop. Anyway, but as far as staying in the lane, okay, you know what? All right, let the Pookies and Ray Ray stay in their lane and the classic men stay in our lane. But here's the thing. We're not part of the same community. And do not lump us in with the same community, because I know what this is about. This is all so that you all can go get away with your BS, and that the hood rats can get away with their BS, and that the hood rats in disguise as classic women can get away with their BS, and then use educated you-know-whats when they need to, when they have no other choice, when they've screwed up so much. And my response to that is to don't ask for the classic men to come back. Don't even dare to have them come back. Once they leave, which in many cases you guys push them to leaving, let them leave. Let them stay out. Let them go. Because that's what you guys wanted. A neighborhood and the community with swag, with flash, where everyone's entertaining and charismatic, and it's just one big ongoing up in the club session, followed by a cookout, followed by another up in the club night, and followed by it's basically the black version of hoedowns and hootenannies. That's what the black community wants. And to that I say, for all men who don't follow the stereotype, who don't follow in line with the Negro script, disassociate yourself from it before they do it for you. And if you're worried about not being accepted anywhere else, yeah, east of the Mississippi River, you may have a concern. You may have a concern with that. Wow. My voice got shot, which tells me to end this video. But if you can't find anywhere else you want it, leave the country and go where you truly want it, whether it's back to Africa or whether it's somewhere else. But for everyone else out there, always bet on X.